In this lecture, we are going to learn about some of the important terms that we come across in the technique of finite element method and finite element analysis, right? So, the first and foremost important term you need to get acquaintance with is degrees of freedom. So, what does degree of freedom means? So, the minimum number of parameters that are required to define a position, or let us say state. Remember these two terms, position and state of any system in space. Any system in space is known as degrees of freedom. So here we considered a plane where there is x-axis and y-axis. Now there is a point A on this particular xy plane. Now I want to define the exact position of point A. So in order for me to define the exact position of A, I need to have the distance from y-axis to this point, which is nothing but represented by x1, and then I also need to have the distance between this point and the x-axis, which is nothing but represented by y1. So here, how many number of dimensions I require to define the position of point A completely? 2 dimensions. One is the x1 and the one is the y1. So what is the degree of freedom of this particular system? It is nothing but 2 degree of freedom system, or otherwise we have to specify 2 translations in x direction and y direction in order to completely define the position of point A. Okay, then we will go to the next system where we have x-axis again and y-axis again. Remember, this is also a 2D system. In this 2D system, what we are having is we are having point A and point B, and these two are connected by a line. Now I want to calculate the degrees of freedom for this particular system. So first of all, what I need to do is I need to have a translatory distance from y-axis to this point and then x-axis to this point, right? Then once I have these two dimensions, I will be able to define the position of A. Now I want to define the position of B. For that purpose, what I need to do is I need to rotate this particular line about the x-axis. So this is nothing but theta, which will become the third dimension. Or let us say I want to define the position of B first and then define the position of A. Then what I will do is I will define the distance between y-axis and the point B and x-axis and point B. Then what I will do is with respect to x-axis I will create a theta, or let us say with respect to y-axis I will create a theta. So how many number of parameters are required to define this particular position of the system here? So we need 3. 2 translations, or let us say linear dimensions, 1 rotation dimension, right? So this system can be called as a 3 degree of freedom system. Now in the next case we are going to take a 3D space, and in the 3D space we are going to have 2 points A and B. Now in order to define this particular object in space, first thing I need to take is I have to create linear distances between point A and the x-axis, and point A and the y-axis, point A and the z-axis. So we have 3 linear dimensions, and in addition to that, for me to define the point B or position of point B, I also need the rotation angle about x-axis, which is theta x, about y-axis, which is theta y, and about z-axis, which is theta z. So if I am having all the 6 dimensions, I will be able to specifically define the position of this object AB in space. So the minimum number of parameters that are required to define the position are nothing but 6, where 3 are translations which are represented by ux. Ux means translation in x-axis, uy translation in y-axis, and uz, which is nothing but translation about z-axis. Then rotations as well, theta x, theta y, and theta z. Next, Degrees of freedom is a very important concept, and in finite element analysis or finite element method we use this particular concept for individual calculation points, which are nothing but called as nodes. And remember, all the elements will not be having 6 degrees of freedom per node. Based on the type of element we are using, there may be 3 degrees of freedom or there may be 6 degrees of freedom. That depends on the type of element. You just need to remember this formula. So the total degrees of freedom of a meshed model is nothing but equivalent to degrees of freedom for each node into number of nodes. You need to remember this particular formula. Okay. Now, as I told you, the degrees of freedom will change. So what are the different factors based on which the degrees of freedom changes? It will change based on the type of element, and it will change based on the family of element. Suppose for example, in 2D elements only, if you take thin shell and plane stress elements, there will be different degrees of freedom for each kind of an element. Then it also depends on what kind of analysis that element is being applied for. So these are the three most important factors that determine how many degrees of freedom are there at each and every node, right? So first one is type of element, second one is the family of element to which it belongs to, and the third one is the type of analysis, right? Then see, if we take an example, we take a 2D thin shell element which will be having 6 degrees of freedom at each and every node when we are performing structural analysis on it. But the same type of element, if we consider for thermal analysis, it will be having only single degree of freedom. So this is one example where the degree of freedom for each node is varying based on the type of analysis we are going to perform, right? Then what is meshing or concept of meshing? So before going to the concept of meshing, we will see what is a geometric model, what is a FE model, or let us say this FE model can also be called as a meshed model, MESHED, meshed MODEL model. So what is a geometric model? So geometric model is nothing but a model which contains geometric elements, lines, points, areas, volumes. So whatever the digital model, if it is made up of lines, points, areas and volumes, vertices and other kinds of geometric entities, it is called as a geometric model. But what is a meshed model or finite element model? So finite element model is nothing but a model which contains simply nodes and elements, right? Nodes and elements. It will not contain anything else. So that is what is called as a meshed model or finite element model. Now, the process of converting a geometric model into finite element model or meshed model is nothing but meshing. So the process of converting geometric model, which is represented here, into a finite element model, which is represented here, is nothing but called as a meshing. Then what are nodes and elements? Nodes are nothing but the points which divide the elements, and the elements are nothing but the areas or the volumes or the lines into which the object is divided into. That particular thing can be called as an element, right?